Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to SA Accounting Academy. Here's a short clip on one of our previous webinars. I hope that you really do enjoy it.
Challenges with the broadband and the Wi-Fi and everything else like that. So unfortunately, I can't show myself off. You're just going to have to see me and just hear me waxing on poetically today. So welcome to the session. It's been a bit of a day and a bit of a morning. My condolences to the SAAA family because they've lost a staff member. So we send our love and our prayers and our thoughts to the SAAA family and to their staff members' family. I think, unfortunately, for many of us, this is becoming an awfully all too frequent occurrence for many of us. I know that in my own space, in January, we lost 5 accountants that I work with closely. And I'm sure many of you have got stories to tell as well. I'm hoping February is better. I'm hoping that, we're on the other end of the surge. And I'm hoping that everybody else is, everybody's doing well. I see that people are saying my sound is soft. Is that better? I'm going to see what I can do on my side. Everything on my side is on 100%. So yeah, I think we do have some challenges with the internet today. I'm seeing some that are saying it's fine, some that are saying that it's gone. So I think that you might have some issues like I had earlier when we were doing our sound checks. It could very well be your connection on your side. But we will be keeping a track of it. There will be the recording made. And so hopefully that'll be good. Okay. Awesome that we had a positive meeting with a family meeting last night. For those of you that didn't catch it, that we at least you can go and get your DOP and your alcohol to ease the pain, a little bit of what we're going through. We had an enforced dry January. It seems like February will be a bit better. And hope that everybody else is doing well. I'm trying to find the positives in February. So with that in mind, COVID has impacted all of our lives. COVID has impacted every aspect of our lives, even businesses that have done okay. I don't think anybody's done well. I think people that have done okay have also got some challenges and some issues. I woke up this morning thinking this was a 3-hour session, looked at my diary, realized it was a 4-hour session, sat back and did some reflecting and realized that in drafting and in looking at this and in the consultation with your client base, we actually need to take a few steps back in different directions and come at this from different angles and different considerations. So this is going to be a bit of a brainstorming session. I want to touch on a whole lot of different ideas from a whole lot of different spaces. I think that the membership that are online this morning, I think you are wearing a whole lot of different hats. Knowing the SAAA membership and knowing the people that are here, you are going to be running your own businesses. You are going to be in commerce and industry. You're going to be consulting with clients. You are going to be offering assurance services. You're going to be compiling financials. You are going to be wearing various different hats from in consulting and dealing with these clients. And so I sat back and thought, you know what, if we are going to talk about drafting financials, it's more than just the debits and credits of these financials. There's a whole lot of underlying issues which we need to think about how they come out in the financials and what is sitting in the files and what is sitting around us and in the I can't put my camera on, but this is me behind the scenes. For those of you that are new to my training sessions and haven't attended one of my sessions before, I always look at that photo just by the way and laugh and think, oh, that's lockdown here. Anyway, that is who I am. This is what I'm about. This is what life is about. So feel free to go back and have a look and see who I am. Okay, so that's the necessary and the beginnings of today's session. The outline that we posted was to say, you need to be aware of the areas of the financial statements that are affected by the pandemic, taking into account financial reporting, okay? But at the same time, there's Companies Act considerations, and I've included the directors here, okay, because directors really need to get on board as to what their responsibilities are and what their requirements are, as well as to what their liabilities are. And what we as accountants and as practitioners and as consultants to business, I'm part of an international group of accounting influencers, and there's been a tremendous amount of discussion over the last few weeks describing accountants as the first responders to the pandemic. Okay, so if you take the fact that healthcare workers are looking after lives and we're looking after livelihoods, we are the first responders, and that's the role that we've played quite significantly over the last year, is helping our clients as they hit emergencies and as they hit traumas in their businesses, dealing with those traumas in that moment. Okay. Now we are sitting, maybe the patient has been through the emergency room of business and possibly has gotten through the ICU and is now in the convalescent stage of business, if they've made it through or not. And then, people talk about those long-term effects of COVID. Well, this is what we are now having to try and get our heads around as accountants and as practitioners as to what the long-term effects are going to be. The first stop in our journey is going to be our first proper set of financial statements through this pandemic. Okay, the 2020 set of financials, if you were done in the first quarter of last year, were just an inkling. We had no idea what was coming. We anticipated, but we really were very naive and very unaware. We didn't know what we were in for at all. Okay. We have now lived a year of this. I still think, and many people agree with me, and we're not meaning to be pessimistic or, doom and gloomers, but I think we're being incredibly realistic to say that I think 2021 is going to be harsher than 2020 for many people, for the simple fact that the unity and the glory and the funding is done. I don't think there's going, the fat that was available to get through the famine has been absorbed. People are down to the bone. People are in survival mode, as I already mentioned. And people are now, if they haven't pivoted, if they haven't adjusted, the question is, have they made use of the window of opportunity that they had? Okay. And are they able to, many businesses managed to limp through, they got through, they looked after their staff, they made the necessary adjustments, they took the necessary sacrifices, but for how long? Okay, is that possible? Okay, we also now looking at the wreckage and at the debris of this hurricane that's gone through us, and looking at what's left, and looking at what resources we have available, and looking at what we look like after it. Okay, and looking at what our situation and our position is to move forward. Okay, so we need to look at this from a multi-angled perspective, and that is going to come through in our financials, and we've got to be realistic about what's coming through in our financials. It's one of the reasons that we want to look at this pre-year end, so that we can try and avoid unnecessary disaster as much as we can, and try and be as strategic as possible as much as we can. Okay, so going concern and subsequent events, we have to revisit that quite extensively. Impairment, we have to look at quite extensively as well. Those are quite significant areas for this year. There is going to be a lot of work done here, and the implication here needs to be considered quite carefully. So that is going to be an issue for us to consider. Okay. Other areas that I've identified for myself, and through the research, I've looked at correspondence and literature around the world, and I am happy to say I'm pretty much on trend, to say that we've got work on estimates, on provisions. We need to be aware of what's happening in restructuring space. Revenue and leases will not be unaffected. Forex is something that, especially living in South Africa, we need to be aware of. Deferred tax. Okay. And valuation. Okay, I'm going to use it as a broad term because there's some subcategories of valuation.
I hope that you enjoyed that video. For more of our webinar videos, go to www.accountingacademy.co.za. Thank you and have a lovely day.